Welcome, family. This is True to the Strat, and this is our weekly Watchlist videos. Jumping straight into things. Labor Day on Monday. There will be no trading on Monday due to Labor Day. However, we do have red news every day of next week, starting with Tuesday. ISM Manufacturing PMI. Wednesday is JOLTS job openings. Thursday is ADP non-farm employment change, unemployment claims, and ISM services. And on Friday, September 5th, we have non-farm employment change, unemployment rates, and average hourly earnings for our major impactful news coming next week. We had an amazing week last week. Our last week watch this went crazy, starting with WPM and SLV went absolutely nuts. We're going to jump straight into this. The names we have for this week, I'm going to start with lows, or low for that matter. Low. So if you've been watching these videos, you know exactly what I like. I like consolidation. I like bullish pennants, and low just matches everything that we look for in a trade, just starting from the top. Quarterly is green, 4-time frame continuity to the upside. The month, nice, beautiful 2-2 rev, cutting off the bottom of that consolidation, revved all the way to the top. Tap 296, which is also the month high of January, and pull back Wednesday. We finally got that nice pullback on the weekly chart. Finally got that nice pullback. We closed inside last week, and this is setting for a TTO back to the upside, or price never really goes straight up. It pulls back, then go up, or we like to call it taking the stairwells to the upside. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to get in to continue the uptrend at least towards 26.19. So how does that look on a day? Well, here we have it. So after those beautiful weeks of upside, we formed the bullish pennant. Not only we formed the bullish pennant, but we have several days of consolidation that I love about this setup. If you look at the hybrid time frames, like the 2-day, you start to see more. We get some actionable signals, and we start to see more information based on what's happening with low. In this case, we have a double inside, which triggered the downside and swept back to the upside, creating a hammer. The next 2-day open on 9/2. So again, this is something that we really, really like to see. The 3-day, we got a double inside. And when does the 3-day open? On 9/2, September 2nd. So we got a double inside. We got a hammer on the 2-day, double inside on the 3-day. And let's check that 4-day. And we got a nice 2-1-2 on a 4-day, which also opens up on September 2nd, 9/2. So multiple confluences on top of the bullish pennant, which points me to this trade that I really, really love. We can get calls above this 258.81. We can also do calls above the 2-day. Let's change that a little bit. That can be calls above 259.44, or you can take the double inside on a 3-day, which will get you in at 260.64. So I think I will just go off the 1-day, get in as early as possible. This trade will be invalid if we break below 255.96 and stay under. Again, we've been sweeping that level, so I like calls above this 2-1. Multiple confluences, bullish pennant, nothing to not like about this setup. And if we move to the analyze tab, I'm going with 19 September's, the 19th of September expiration, 270 Cs. If we look at the targets we have at hand, well, any one of these pivots could be a target. So we got a target of 265, target of 266.56. Then we have another target of 269.19. Knowing lows, this can happen in 1 day or 2 days. We're giving ourselves 2 weeks to reach 269.19. If we picking contracts that give ourselves 2 weeks to hit 269.19 based on that ATR, which is the average move that this stock can give. And the average move that this stock can give is $5.08. I mean, we have more than enough time, which pushes the risk to reward to very high. Very low risk, but very high reward. And that's what we want out of our trades. So going back to that analyze tab, 269.19, if we hit that by 913 or 912, that will yield 133% return on investment. If we hit 266.59, it will yield a 40% return on investment. Again, that's in 2 weeks. 266.56 is right there. So what this means is you can pop, pull back, pop, pull back. You have a lot of time to hit 269. So loving this trade, loving the odds, loving the risk factor of this trade, and looks explosive. Keep eyes on that. Next ticker we're going to talk about is Lyft. I like Lyft for several reasons, but let's take it a step back. So quarterly, we didn't quite trigger that 3-2 on the QR just yet. We did come close to it, but pulled back, which is pretty fine. We do get another quarter in October. So if we do end up staying double inside, that's something we want to watch out for. Just thinking ahead. Looking at the month, we have a double three on the month. We went outside last month. We went outside on August, and now we're going to open up inside for September. And now we're still going to have the opportunity to trigger 3-2 up on the month as well as the quarter. So beautiful. I do want to note that 17.52 will be an area of turbulence. If we just look to the left of this price range, you will see that price loves to pull back at 72.52 as it did in previous time slots that you see, especially on the monthly and the quarterly. And as far as back as we can go, it's been doing this since 2023 as well. So very challenging area. We kind of want to be taking or trimming our contracts when we reach that point, because there's a high probability that it will reverse at that point, as it did last week. So we reached around 17.52, we pulled back. But if you look at the previous weeks before that, we've been on an uptrend anyway, and we finally got that nice pullback or TTO opportunity to get back in to take this, to ride this on the uptrend. Looking at the daily, you will see that exactly. Nice push up, several days of pullback. We found some demand zone. We also sit in the OTE at the golden area of 61.80, and we formed an actionable signal, which is a hammer. And now that puts us at calls above 16.31 to target 17.01, and then we want to target 17.52. So this is supposed to be a quick trade. Again, 17.52 is a very, very challenged area. It will be all your risk. If you want to hold and see if you want to hold above that, it can. You never know what happens. Just keep in mind that it's been filling that range since 2023. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It might be ready to push above, but I'll be looking to take most profit around 17.52. Looking at the Analyze tab, we have 19 September, 17 C's. This is 17.85. We're gonna put 17.52. That's a 74% return. I'll take that, right? I'll load some contracts. Take that 74% for the monthlies. If we hit that on the 5th, we push that to 121.31% return on investment. Even at $17, 1701 is only right there. That can hit in 1 or 2 days. But again, we want to give ourselves a week or 2 weeks to do so, to heighten those odds. Not much for the 17s, but again, we can hit 17.52. Nice return going on there. So I like Lyft in those regards. Next ticker I like is Amgen. Amgen is sitting at the bottom, sitting the OTE first and foremost, stop the quarter. So Amgen is not didn't have a good quarter. Got a shooter. I know that's conflicting, but as we break down these time frames, I'll show y'all what I really, really, really like about this setup. And there's a couple problems about this setup. We are in a mother bar as well, but let's keep pushing. We have the month. The month is also inside and red as well. Again, a few things conflicting with this setup, but I think this setup has some money to be made in it. I love the fact that we are holding the previous quarter close at 279.21. You look to the left, we've been holding this range pretty solid. Working our way down to the week, we swept previous week's lows. And again, we've been holding around that level. That's around our previous year close level, 287.28 and 284.87. I'm looking for a sweep and a push back to the upside. What gets my attention to this trade also is that we once consolidated at the previous year close, and now we are consolidating at the previous year close again before we get that nice little run up to the upside. So I'm looking for that same thing. I'm looking for that nice little run up to the upside around the previous week open, 296.93. And I want to see if we can jump to 301.47. So we pretty much bottom fishing down here. That's almost a $20 move to the upside. Slightly under a $20 move to the upside that we're looking for. Yeah, so I like the way this is setting up. We can at least get to that previous week open. So tricky one with Amgen, but I do see the potential with Amgen as well. Clicking over at the Analyze tab, I like this September's 156. The September 19 300Cs for 156. Again, we hit these around September 12th. We got a target of 296.43. 296. We got 296.93 here, but 296.43. That would yield only at 30%, nothing too crazy. But we start to reach above those 300s or 301.47. Hoping we could get price back up to this range, which is very, very possible. That would yield just below 200%. So I like the odds. Those are Septembers. You can't get the Octobers if you want maximum time. Again, there's a few conflicts with this trade. We do have conflicts with trade. The best option to go is with longer time to hit those targets. And the 310s are promising with 296.43 target for 40% in the next 2 weeks, and at 301 with 121.06%. So it is a sleeper. Do have some conflicts going on, but the long-term profitability is there, especially if this shooter starts to, especially if they buy the price up, turning this shooter into just a regular double inside candle. It's going to have a lot of attention going into next quarter because it's going to have a 2-1-1 quarter as well, and it was going to have potential to go up to 335 or to 330, etc. So bottom fishing here. I like the move. Next ticker I'm going to talk about is Sound. Sound was on last week's watch list, but it didn't move, which puts it back on the watch list because it's still in range. We triggered the 2-2 rev on a quarter and pull back. On a month, triggered 2 up, actually went 3 up, pull back as well, retesting the previous month highs of 1356. So that's the key level, 1356. And now we have a potential TTO on the week. Also, we are dipping into the OTE on the week, and we almost swept the previous week as well, forming a nice green hammer. So that gets my attention to this trade. Again, we want to get over that previous month high at 1356. I love the consolidation on the daily. We failed to dip below, even with the red that happened last week. We didn't dive to the downside. Instead, we held this level in some regard, and it's trying to push up. I do like the hybrid time frames for this. Like the 2-day. We triggered 2-1-2 on the 2-day, 3-day. Trigger 2 up on the 3-day, and finally this 4-day. We got a nice inside. The next 4-day opens up on September 2nd. So we got a 2-1-2 on the 4-day, triggering above 306 to target 1356. And then we want to get up to 1483, 1549, and 1659 as well. So loving this trade. I like the way it's sitting. I think it's ready to move pretty soon. Hitting up the Analyze tab. You can just rock with the 14 Cs for $60. The 19 September expirations. And again, get to that 16.59, at least spot of 12. That'll yield over 300% return. If you get the 1483, that's almost 100% return. Again, 1483 is only right there. That can happen in 1 day, 2 days, Again, we're giving ourselves 2 weeks. So the risk reward on here is beautiful. Setup is beautiful. 4 days beautiful. And we dipped into that OTE. So keep sound on your radar. Next tick I'm talking about is catch up. So a little bit of XLP going on here. So catch up been at the bottom, sitting at the bottom of these ranges for quite some time. I'm backing up into the year. So we had yearly lows going on with catch up. Yearly lows. Let's go check the quarter. Quarter is still inside. We are sitting in demand zone. So this trade is heavily discounted, but we be looking for a short-term swing on this one. Come down to the monthly. We got a nice 2-1 on the month. Come September, we're gonna have a beautiful 2-1-2 trigger to the upside. And finally, on the week, we had some consolidation happen on the week. So for several weeks, we've been stuck in this range between 27.97 and 27.18. And we have a hammer on the week as well. So I think that this is almost ready to go, at least up to 29.19 or 29.56. So we want that 2-1-2 trigger. Target 29.19, 29.56, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm thinking we can get it back up to this 30s area. This nice move to the upside on the previous week, starting 6:30, it dipped us into our OTE, so we are bouncing off of OTE golden area as well, which heightens the confluence of this trade. And finally, on the daily, we got some raveling on a point of control, which acts as the launch pad. It will eventually push this ticker to the upside. Last Friday, we closed as a 3. They swept the lows, bring it back up, and that's why I love the way this catch up is looking, because I think we have potential to move to the upside. Looking at that 4-day, lots of squeeze and compression. Wicks at the bottom is telling me that they are buying this up. Again, September 2nd is the key date. We want to get that 3-1-2 on a 4-day, pop to the upside. Love the way this one's setting up. 3-day. 3-day don't look good as a 4-day to me, but you get a 2-2 rev. And got a 3-2 on a 2-day as well. So multiple confluences going on with this one. Point of control, OTE. Do not sleep on catch up. Do not sleep on catch up. Only 36 cents to get in this, aka $36, and that's for the October 17s. We're gonna load up on these, man. We're gonna load up on those. But we got the target of 29.19. Look at that, 2019 and 60%. If we could get up to that range by the 12th, and I think we could hit 29.56 to be honest. 29.56 over 100% return on investment. So this is a sleeper low key. And then you got the 30. I got the 3081s, but you got 3053. So you put, and honestly, with October, that's a lot of time. So it's more of a sit and wait if you trigger. Just be a little patient. There will be some turbulence around 29.19. There will be some turbulence, but if we get above that, we can shoot for 30.53. I like catch up. Yeah, this is ready to explode. It's been sitting on this point of control for a while now. It's ready to go. Okay. Next ticker is PayPal. I forgot who in the group brought up PayPal. If just remind me whoever in the group brought up PayPal. Again, this is another ticker that's rattling on the point of control. Fell 2 down on the month, and a nice consolidation on the week. It is in a mother bar that can be due to the consolidation on the week, but we got to see how price action moves. I think this has potential to start to crawl back to the upside, and we want to watch out for that. So this, if we can get off this point of control, that'll be beautiful for PayPal. We have a nice gap to fill from 73.28 all the way up to 77.93. To me, this is just ready to pop. It hasn't been moving to the downside. It's been holding previous month low, 68.46 for quite some time. And once we can clear this level of 70.74, I think this is ready to rip. Same way it started to rip here. Same way it started to rip in this range here. And it also did it around here. So I have to be a little patient with this one, but the opportunities are definitely there. I think October's would be the best way to go. It's PayPal. PayPal can be kind of funny, but I love the October. It's only $1.29. If you want to rock with the September's 72.50s, that's only $1. Target 73, 75.31. 75.31, we hit that. With October, that's a 133.62. That's a good return, especially for October's. I said the September's. September's will be 218. So the risk to reward is great on these, especially for the contracts. It just got to get moving. 74.32 is only right there. That could happen on a nice 2 day. That could happen in a nice 2 or 3 days. 74.32, honestly. Again, I like to give myself the most time. That's how we got the most high probability setups and the most high probability contracts. Because we giving ourselves more than enough time to hit a move that could crack in 2 days. So you just do the math. Whoever watches it, do the math on that. That's how you stay green on swings. 74.32, 93%, 73.86, 75. I like PayPal, only not for his contracts. The setup is there. You just need some patience, dog. If y'all get some patience, you're gonna make money when he swings. We run this one back. Yeah, I like PayPal. Second to last one, on. I was contemplating on posting this one. On does not have continuity to the upside. It does not. Year is red, quarter is red inside, month is red. For some reason, it's refusing to go below the previous week's low of $44.17. I mean, if this trade does fail, it has the potential to drop to the previous quarter open at 41.92. Everything is pointing to the downside. I just like the way it held these levels, right? I like the way it held these levels. Again, previous week low at 44.17. It been sweeping here for the last 3 weeks. So my reckon is this ready to pump to the upside? They did have earnings, which created a nasty mother ball. Not my most A plus setup. Again, I see the potential in the consolidation on the week and the sweeps that was happening on the previous week's lows here. You can see these wicks going on. Based on those sweeps, I have the inclination, I have certainty that this might be ready to move back to the upside. And we are catching this at the lows of the lows because here it is. So calls above calls above 45.52. That's a 2-2 rev on a daily. You can PMG this. You can take out these stops here. You can hit the previous week open at 56.50. Very easy. There's a lot of wick to wick gaps going on here. Like volume imbalance is what they call it. A lot of that going on. I think once price actually wants to move to the upside, it can pretty easy because it got a lot of orders to fill going to the upside. And my ultimate target for this is 52.05, but y'all can take profit around 59.81. This is a bottom feed type of trade. Again, holding that level. I will cut if it goes below 44.17. I don't trade this much, so I'm real strict on tickets. I don't trade much. So if it does go below 44.17, it decides to give out, it's going to head for that 41.92. So I'll just cut from there and reassess. But calls above the 2-2 rev, 52. Looking at these contracts, again, I don't trade this much, so I will go with that most time, October's. Again, we want to hit 48.26. Just not even here. And that's 83% if we could do that by 9/12. That's for October's. 83% for October's is a lot. So that could happen in 2 to 3 days. Again, giving ourselves the most time. 52.05. Let's get that. 52.05. That's 321%. We can even push these back a little bit more. Let's see if we hit these by September 27. Yeah, this is a buy and hold. I mean, again, y'all, if this don't go below the lows here, super buy and hold. Just chill out. Let that rock. If it start to reverse back up, easy money, easy money, easy money, easy money. I hope y'all can see that by the risk to reward that's happening on these. This is 9/27, giving ourselves a whole month to do that. 12, yeah. Easy money. Get the Octobers. I mean, you feeling a little bit more risky. You could rock with the Septembers. I don't like the spreads on these, honestly. So that's why I think that's why I went with the Octobers. The spread was better. Yeah, 50 to 56 is way better. 82 to 87 is way better than the Septembers, but you can rock with Septembers. Last but not least, shout out to Ethiopian Queen, aka Hasos. I'm loving this Disney traders fire. So first and foremost, we have the opportunity to go 3-2 on the quarter. We can go 3-2 on this quarter here. And that previous year high, it was also previous year high at 123.74. That will be a tough level. Disney did not break that for quite some time, at least since July of 2022. It's been struggling to break that level. Let's look at the year real quick. Yeah, the last 3 years been struggling to break that level, but we have the opportunity to do it now. Disney had a 2-2 rev, went green for the previous 2 months before it actually went red last month. And then decided to sell off, and what they did, they swept it around the previous year close at 111.35, and they swept it back up. So again, we like TTOs over here. We like sweeps. We like buying at discounts, and this could be the opportunity for people to catch Disney as it makes its way back to the upside, and hopefully can clear that 123.74, which is the previous year high. Looking at the week, we have a 2-1 on the week, which is perfect actionable signal that was set up for the 2-1-2 week going into September. And finally, the daily is what has my attention because all it did was consolidate last week. It didn't break below 117.23. It didn't break below there. It's also in the OTE as well. And I love the way it consolidated here before. So I'm looking for this kind of move. Bang. Be right back there. Let's see if we get that kind of move. Bang. Get back up to 123.74. So looking at the in-laws tab, you got September 120 Cs. Got October's as well. So 123.74. Just put the 74 in there. So 146. Disney could be a slow mover. So I'm not complaining about that. It's nice little buy and hold. 121.40. That could happen in 3 days, 2 days on a good day. 121.40. Again, we want to see worst case scenario. Get that on the 5th, honestly. That's 71%. I'll take PT on that. All right. So looks really, really good. Looks really, really good in that regard. We got the Octobers. You want more time? Let's go with the Octobers. That'd be 125C. And if we get through 123, you get up to that towards that 125. So yeah, I really like Disney. Again, just putting the most time on the contracts to increase our odds to hitting these targets. You wanna buffer out the red days you might get in the market or the choppy days. And that's how you make money on swings. All right. That concludes the watch list. Peace out and enjoy your Labor Day weekend.